about your life. Remember when you would write a letter to your girlfriend, and she would read it to all of her girlfriends. Remember staying up all night, talking on the phone. Remember skipping class with your homeboys. Yeah. Remember G.I.
Hey yo, I wrote the shit up all day. A long stay in the hallway. Harking back to an era of the tape play. Hitting on the track well, on a max cell. With the spitting the beginning of a rap tale. Elastic scoop from Luke shine vividly. In due time, produce rhyme synergy. And for the longest caught the blinking of the torment. Till inkling of performance, still thinking of us dormant. And so it be, who hold close and kept dear. Were left there, won't know folks by next year. For ties cut, invest shares, perplex peers. Rise up, reflect fear, for hex sneers. The rest cheer, know we did it for a purpose. Poem of a kid who never did scratch surface. Until we own it, respect the craft for proponents. Cause it ain't over till it's sown.
Remember what? You would hear a song you like, and you felt like it was about your life. Remember when you would write a letter to your girlfriend, and she would read it to all of her girlfriends. Remember staying up all night, talking on the phone. Remember skipping class with your homeboys. Remember G.I. Joe.
I used to play Mortal Kombat with Matthew. I swore he used to cheat. I swear I could never beat him. Those sour jawbreakers, I swear I could never eat him. Baddest chick in the school, I swear I could never meet her. Until I wrote her a letter telling her I'm a singer. Me and Terrence would draw pictures of sneakers. Me and Ash used to be in the class singing. I wrote my first rap in the back of the class thinking, I'm feeling it, yeah. Feel high, did you get feeling alive? If you feel it, raise your L in the sky. I remember selling my mixtape in high school. They was really kinda supportive at my school. I was selling cassette tapes for $5. I was making my own beats, I was beatboxing.
Brown, brown sugar, that brown, but brown, hey. 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 Brown, brown sugar, that brown, but brown, hey.
What's up, everybody? It's a Friday, TGIF Friday. Checking the dial. Sounds looking good. How's everybody doing? It's been a long week. I've been extremely busy. Sorry I haven't been able to keep up with as many episodes as I possibly can. Today we're going to talk about evictions in the state of Florida, the expiration of the eviction moratorium, how Trump's executive order on moratorium on evictions isn't worth the paper it's written on, and how a lot of people are going to be extremely hurt, and where the opportunity is in this eviction / foreclosure market. In case you don't know me, you haven't been here for some time, my name is Barry Cunningham. I am a real estate investor, been so for about 25 years here in South Florida. Been involved in 1,000+ transactions on one or the other side, and now with the opportunity zones here in South Florida, also looking to do some developments. So if you're looking to get involved in some of these developments, please go ahead and give me a call. I'd love to talk to you, see if we can't discuss some ways for you to park your money and get a really decent return on real estate investment and real estate development here in South Florida. That being said, let's jump right to it. So, we've heard so much about this eviction moratorium that's basically been going on since March and February, all the way through now here in August, and it expires on September 2nd. Actually expires on September 1st, but September 2nd is when the floodgates are expected to fly open. So, I'm wondering how people are going to deal with that. I'm wondering how people are going to be able to overcome what's about to happen. Looks like my voice is a little bit off. I have to check my processing there. But nonetheless, here we are. Here we are. We're about to just see a tsunami wave of evictions. And you don't have to take my word for it. So let's go to the board here. And so what we see right off the bat here is we see an article on CNBC, and it says that President Trump's executive order is not going to basically help the people that think are going to be helped with this eviction moratorium. Now, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because it doesn't spell anything out. So you're going to have to really take a look at this. And as you take a look at it, really understand what's going on here. So the president makes this order, and in great pomp and circumstance goes out there and signs these 4 executive orders. And one of them is supposedly for putting a moratorium on evictions. Everybody clapped, was happy. Whether you're a supporter of his or not, everyone thought this was a great deal. But as you dug deeper, as you begin to dig into this and what it actually says nothing more than basically, hey, Carson, you guys over at the HUD, can you take a look at this? Can you basically just take a look and tell me if we can do anything? You know, you guys go ahead and check it out and let me know. And so what ends up happening is you look at this order or memorandum, however you want to call it, and it basically instructs the Department of Health and Human Services, HUD, and some other, whether temporarily banning residential evictions is reasonably necessary to prevent further spread of the COVID. Law is very, very succinct. It tells you what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to infer. There's no gray lines here. And with this executive order, all it does is instruct a couple agencies to go check some things out. Tell me if we need to do this. Could they have not done that before he did the order? Could they have not decided that, hey, listen, we really need to take a look at this because these people are going to get screwed? Now, to no fault of many of their own, yeah, especially in areas where businesses were closed, which was definitely down here in South Florida. Northern Florida, I'm not really sure of, but here in South Florida, there was a tremendous impact. Many businesses got shut down, and many businesses continue to be shut down. I mean, there's not a movie theater you can go anywhere. Restaurants are at 25% occupancy, which is fine if you're a patron. But some of the restaurants that used to jam and need 50% occupancy, hotels, bars, forget about it. So I don't think we need to have a discussion as to whether or not the COVID impacted people and whether it's reasonably necessary to prevent further spread, or to identify funds that could potentially be used to help renters. It doesn't do anything. So just right off the bat here, before we get into things, we're only 6 or 7 minutes in. We're going to have to say, just take it off your head. If you think that the president issued a moratorium on evictions, it did not happen. Sorry to be the one to break it to you, especially with only 2 weeks to go. But he didn't do it. Not even close. Yeah, he could still possibly do it, but if you understand how things have moved over the last 6 or 7 months, the president doesn't have the power to tell a state what to do. I mean, just think of it this way before you argue with me. If you've driven up and down I-95, anywhere on I-95, what's the federal speed limit? And then you cross into some states like South Carolina and Georgia where you're on 95 and it's a straight shot. And your speed limit is a completely different number. Why? Because the state set it. think of marijuana. In certain states, you have the ability to smoke pot. Other states, you can't. In terms of like what Biden said last night, he wants to do a federal mask mandate. He can't do that. It sounds good on television, but he can't make every state do that. He can't tell you, hey, people in Florida have to wear a mask. No, DeSantis doesn't have to abide by that. Now, understanding where Trump could really do some things is by saying, hey, listen, if you guys don't put a moratorium on foreclosures, we're going to take money from your highway to help people who need help with their rent. See, there's different ways he can do that, but that's not what this particular moratorium or attempt at a moratorium did. This is nothing more than an instruction for people to check out to see if people need help. Basically, he bought some time and a photo op. And, I am not talking politically here. I'm talking about real estate. And what we're seeing with real estate is that this basically didn't do diddly. It's not going to stop an eviction. I don't think it was even designed to stop an eviction. I think it was designed to show people basically he's trying to do something, but it's not going to work. So this was on CNBC. You can look it up yourself. You can see what's on here. You can actually go through it yourself and figure it out, read it, understand what it's saying. But what it definitely doesn't say, and it surely doesn't say, that evictions are stopped. Doesn't say it at all. So I'm not sure what people are expecting, but I'll be back with you in less than like 30 seconds. We're going to talk about something, and I want you guys to see what we can do with helping people out of evictions and foreclosures and get yourself some opportunity as well.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So that being said, let's go ahead and move on to something here. And again, now we're going to see something that was posted most recently. And this is from the Washington Post. And it says, Trump says he's stopping evictions. Here's why they're still happening. Well, I explained to you why they're still happening. There's no secret, because he can't stop the courts from making them go through the process. And I just spent a good 10 minutes showing you guys that, so there's no reason to go over it. Just understand. Now, how many people are going to be affected here? So I saw this site. I'm not really familiar with it. It's called Florida Phoenix. It's got some good information on this site, but they're talking about 800,000 people. And no, let me back that up. 800,000 renters across the state of Florida. Now, you can take families and add on to that number. So if there's 3 people in a house, you're talking 2.4 million people being affected here. That's absolutely mind-blowing. I can't even think to what that kind of impact in the real estate market and in humanity in general is going to be like. Even though I've been accused of being a bottom feeder and, taking advantage of people in foreclosure, I've heard that for decades. But these people are going to get crushed. There's basically if there's 800,000 renters at risk, that's basically almost a third of the total renters. In this article, it says there's 2.7, let me put that up here, there's 2.7 million rental units. So if 800,000 of them are at risk, that means almost a third of the people who are renting homes, apartments, are in trouble. That's absolutely massive. That's taking an entire city and throwing them out on the street. An entire city. There are cities that don't have 800,000 people. And that's just renters. That doesn't include their family. So people. That's taking possibly a couple million people and saying, get out. Can you even comprehend that? Can you comprehend that there could be 2 million people plus out in the street? I mean, it's just amazing in terms of the numbers. That's just beyond comprehension. 2.7 million. And this thing expires on September 1st. So September 2nd, the courts are going to start. Now here's where something's really big that a lot of people don't know, forgot, didn't know. And this is where it's really scary, is that the first 2 or 3, however many of them there were, moratoriums that DeSantis put out there, it stopped everything in its tracks immediately. No more filings, no executions, no summons, nothing. However, there was language put into the last moratorium that basically didn't make it a moratorium anymore. So what's begun to happen is we're seeing the courts right now processing evictions. They're out there doing everything except issuing the writ of possession. And what the writ of possession is the final declaration of eviction. You get your 3-day notice, you get your summons, you got to respond, you got to put the money into the registry of the court. You don't do that, he gets a judgment, the landlord gets a judgment. Once he has a judgment, he goes over to the sheriff's office, he gets a writ of possession. And once he gets his writ of possession, the sheriff comes out to serve you and tell you, get out. The only thing on hold right now are the last 2 pieces of that puzzle, the judgment and the writ of possession. So now what's happened is the courts are out in full force and they're processing evictions again. They're doing all the procedures to get people into the system. They're filing. The courts are backing up with so many cases being put out there to evict tenants. And they go through this story here and they talk about a guy who's down 3 or 4 months and you know, again, they're talking about 2.6 million renter households and how much they're in trouble and how the confusion. But you have to understand right here, the only way that you're going to get some form of moratorium or delay, the only way is for you to put into your response, with veracity, of course, you can't lie, that you have been negatively impacted financially by the COVID virus, whatever you want to call it. You've got to do that. If you don't do that, it's going to go. And so here in this article, they tell you what happens. You get the summons, you get 5 days to pay, you got to put it in escrow. If the person doesn't put in escrow, the judge issues a writ of possession, which grants the Miami police with the power to physically remove the tenant or homeowner from the property within 24 hours. That's it. So the only thing right now that is going to be of any solace to people who are in an eviction process is that the current, and when I say right now, the current writs of possession are not being issued. September 1, you can bet there's going to be a mad dash to the courthouse, and all of a sudden what you're going to see is a ton of writs of possessions being issued, and the only thing is how long does it take for the sheriff or the police to come knock on your door? Then you only got 24 hours. That's it. 24 hours at that point. And once that happens, Katie barred the door.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So, I think we all can agree at this point that evictions are proceeding. Don't listen to anyone who tells you otherwise. Don't be a dime store attorney and saying, hey, we don't have to do anything for the next, 3 or 4 months, because that's not true. That's not true, and you're going to be evicted. It's going to happen. It can't go on forever. And I also empathize a lot with, landlords and, being able to understand that what are they supposed to do? The banks aren't saying just don't worry about it. It's a really, really bad situation. So we're looking at tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people being tossed out forcibly or having to leave voluntarily before the sheriff gets there. So where's the opportunity? I mean, we're all in real estate to make money. We have to have some empathy, but we're here to make money. You have to be able to, put the hat on, bring out the other hat, Mr. Investor, Mr. Developer, and see what you can do. But right now, there is so much opportunity. And so let me tell you what we're doing. Obviously, there are going to be some good people who are stuck in bad situations. There are going to be a lot of good people stuck in bad situations. If you owe $1,000 a month and haven't been able to pay for 6 months, there is no way you're going to come up with $6,000 or $7,000 to stay in a place. But you might have 2 or 3. You might have $1,500. You might have $2,000 and say, listen, I need to find some place that I can move into. Those are the people that are going to give you the opportunity. If you're looking at rental property, which you should be, because you just found out there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people across the state of Florida who need some place to live. See, this entire show today was to give you your lead list. If you knew and you were selling, cell phones or widgets, and you knew that there were potentially 800,000 customers who need what you're going to be selling, would that be hard to make a ton of money? Of course not. Of course not. If you could find those people that want to buy the widget, who need the widget, must have the widget, could you make some money? Well, right now in every county in the state of Florida, just about every county, there is going to be a lead list, a huge lead list of people who need some place to live. You have their names, you have their addresses, and in some cases you have their phone numbers. Home run. If you rent some property, if you own a duplex or quad, or even some single family houses, you're going to be able to talk to some people who need some place to live. Just think about that. We're always talking about, where do I find motivated buyers? Where do I find motivated sellers? Where do I find renters? Now you got the cream of the crop. There are a ton of good people out there in a bad situation. They got stuck behind this corona. So forget the credit reports. Forget all that. Talk to John and Sally. Hey guys, what do you do? Well, we used to own a restaurant. We were doing fantastic. This thing has destroyed us. Okay, so what are you going to do to get out of this? Well, we're looking to, I'm a chef and I'm going to go look at a restaurant once they open up, and I'm going to get back into doing this, and I'm going to get paid. And you see where I'm going with this? You're going to find some people who are good people who need a leg up, need a hand. Hey, John, so what do you get paid when you're working? Oh, I get paid, $1,500, $1,700 a week. Boom, that sounds great. What do you have saved up? I know because I see the court filing that you're, 4 or 5 months behind. What do you have available now? Well, I've got $2,500 I can pay. Great. I got some place for you to live. Do you think they're going to be good tenants? Do you think other people out there are slamming the door in their face? You think there's other people out there looking at their credit reports and going, oh my God, there's nothing I can do for you. Yeah, it looks like you haven't made a payment in like 6 or 7 months. It looks like you got your car repossessed. Can't help you. But man, it was the virus. If you look before the last 7 months, you're going to see I was crushing it. I was paying. I had 2 cars. We went on vacation. And now all of a sudden, we're having to start from zero, but we're ready to work. We're ready to go back to work. And my wife and I are both going to be working. We're going to have 2 incomes. That's a tenant you want. And when you get that kind of tenant, that tenant's going to be grateful that you helped them. They're probably going to take care of the house. You can say, hey, listen, I'm going to cut your rent, but you're going to mow the lawn. You're going to take care of the pool. You're going to do all the things to sweat equity to get yourselves back. Get yourselves back in the game. And you're going to find, you're going to get, I'm telling you, this is a gold mine for people, especially for landlords who know what they're doing. And I haven't even got into the whole Section 8 thing. I'll talk about that on Monday. But evictions, when you've got this many people, like I said, you have basically a city, an entire city, 800,000 plus renters, 2 million people in these homes that are going to have to shift. That population that has to go someplace. It's not an if. They have to go someplace. They're not going to put millions of people out on the street. And you as the landlord, the new landlord, you're in this to make a ton of money. Because on the other side of the coin, you need to get out there and start buying some houses, because people from New York and Washington and everywhere else are coming down here and they're buying these houses sight unseen. But they're not working. They're not buying as much in the lower end market. When I say lower end, I'm not talking about hood. I'm not talking about war zone. I'm talking about, 2 to 240, 2 to 250, 2 to 275. Something that someone knows they have to downsize because they can't afford where they used to live, but they still want a decent place. They want to be able to put his wife and kids to bed knowing no one's climbing through the window. There's a lot of places like that. But those aren't moving as quickly. So that gives you an opportunity right now to get out there and put some offers out. I'm putting out 5 offers a day on properties that are basically in moving condition in tier 2 neighborhoods. No realtor will use that term, but we can use it. Tier 2 neighborhoods that people who are in the process of eviction can downsize to. And make it even stronger. If you give these people 6-month leases, renewable 6-month leases, because they want to get in, get someplace for their family, get back to work, and then they're going to go back up the ladder. You're going to be able to make a ton of money, and you're going to help people. Like I said earlier, we're always called bottom feeders. But in this instance, we have our pick of the litter. We know where the properties are, and we can help some people. I don't know about you guys, but that to me sounds like a win-win situation. That to me sounds like something that we could really embrace. And with all these people just slated to get destroyed as these evictions are expected to skyrocket. When I see those kind of terms, and I see skyrocket, and this was from yesterday, that tells me they need us. That tells me they need people like us who do what we do. Because there's nobody else. Understand it. There's nobody else out there. There's no agency, no government, nothing. These people need some direction and help. And if you're going to do that, and you're going to offer these people that direction and help, and you can make some money, that is a complete win-win home run any way you slice it. And you have so much volume, you never run out. So like I said, I know right now, and you should know right now, where every lead you need is. You can go to the Broward County online courthouse. You can see every single person who's in the eviction. You can see every single person who's under list pendants. You can see what they owe. This isn't going away. This is a huge opportunity. But you've got to change your mindset. A lot of us like to be sharks. A lot of us like to get in there and hammer and just get the best possible deal we can. I'm just asking you to take your foot off the gas just a little bit. Instead of a home run, hit a triple. Instead of a triple, maybe a double. You're still going to make money, but now the volume is so high, you can actually make a ton of money. I'm looking to do probably 10 to 15 deals a month. And those deals couldn't be buying lease options on property, making sure that my lease option on a property allows me to put somebody in there enough where I've got, positive cash flow. Doing my due diligence, I can understand where that goes. Can you imagine going from 0 properties under your belt to 20, 30 a month? So what if you're making, $1,000, $1,500 positive cash flow for property after taxes, insurance, everything, maintenance, and you've got 20 or 30 of these properties that you're just sitting on? Like I said, and that doesn't even count Section 8. You'll have the best tenants. So I'm going to download these eviction rolls and list pendances and auction rolls, and begin just contacting these people left and right and asking them if they have someplace to live, getting engaged with them, finding out about their situations, what happened, where are they right now. I mean, that article I had up, let me see if I can go back to it, or is it gone? I deleted it. But the article I had up and had the guy's name in it. Said, hey, it's John Smith. He was paying $1,200. It even said how much his job was paying him now. He got reduced down to like $750 a week. All right, so I know what he can afford. I can find a duplex and rent out half, and put him in there at $750 a month. You think he's going to be happy? He doesn't have to come up with $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 in back rent. You see how this could work for you and your benefit? You're going to make a ton of money, and you're going to have some really, really happy tenants. So I hope you guys learned something from this today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys
Your
on
source
Monday.
for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.